Hello and welcome to the Anti-Football Podcast. My name is Chris and I am joined as always by Harry. Harry, how are you doing? How's it down south?
Pretty crappy weather to be honest, but I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm decent myself, mate. Yeah, it's not too good up north either. I have to say, it's pretty rainy, pretty dark, pretty miserable. But I'll tell you what hasn't been miserable is the football since the last episode. Obviously, it's been quite a lot since we last recorded. We might as well just jump straight into it. Champions League final.
Yep.
Was where we left off.
Yep.
We were previewing that. I said 3-2 to Liverpool. You said 3-0. Obviously, you were much closer to predicting the score. What were your thoughts on that game, Harry?
A very Liverpool-dominated performance, wasn't it? They went behind after 2 minutes, didn't they? Spurs.
It was a poor penalty to concede by Moussa Sissoko. Obviously, putting his arm out, went to VAR, and they thought it was a penalty. What about you, though? Did you think that was a penalty, or do you think that was a bit harsh?
The intent was there, wasn't it? Whether he meant it or not, I don't know. Next season they're going to be implementing a law that if it hits any part of your arm accidentally or not, it's going to be a penalty. But given that his arm was so far out, yeah, it's a definite penalty for me.
Yeah, I could see what he was trying to do. Obviously, the way he was pointing, I think he was trying to organise defence,
Yeah.
but obviously didn't really work out for him that way. I'll agree with you. Yeah, I do think it was a penalty. I do think he was unlucky though. But I mean, when you stick your arm out like that, you're inviting a penalty to you. So yeah, and Salah converts it within something like 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Spurs were behind. I mean, it's tricky because Spurs are good at working when it's 0-0. And obviously, they were behind from the start. Do you think that it would have been in Spurs' advantage if it had stayed 0-0 for, say, like half an hour or first half, maybe?
Liverpool would have been kept pushing until they got a goal. They're not the sort of team to sort of be dominated, are they? I don't think they've been behind that much this season, or last season now. So I think we always thought that they were going to win, didn't we? So I don't think that would have affected them too much.
I did say I felt there'd be some early goals. There wasn't really going to be a feeling out process ever, was there? Obviously, two teams had faced each other twice this season. But I mean, after that initial penalty, the game really seemed to quiet down, didn't it?
Very boring, wasn't it? It was like watching a pre-season friendly game. Just very sloppy. Maybe like watching a non-league game, maybe. I don't know, just didn't seem like it was Champions League quality.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I wasn't going to use the word boring, but yeah, it was very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, really. You'd have thought it wouldn't have been so cagey with that first goal and the penalty happening. You'd have thought Spurs had wanted to push forward more, but no, the passing was really sloppy from both teams. But Liverpool especially, I thought, really weren't at the best that day.
No. I think they were just all on their holidays. I don't know, their heart just didn't seem in it. I know it was a Champions League final, perhaps it was like the nerves getting to them, but Liverpool have been at that stage before. I mean, as little as 12 months ago. So, I just couldn't... can't quite put my finger on where the issue lied affecting the whole team.
Yeah, I do. We did say in the last podcast that the Champions League final experience with that Liverpool squad really could have really helped them. And I do think it did, but I also think that I don't know, they weren't firing, and I do think that, say, if Man City got past Spurs in that quarter final, if Ajax got past Spurs in that semi final, Liverpool wouldn't have won that final. I do think the only reason that Liverpool won that was because Spurs were quite bad, quite poor during that game.
Yeah, I mean, we did touch on that last time. Like, however good that Spurs team was going to be, was always going to be the factor in where the game would like swing. So, thankfully for Liverpool, in their case, it was a very poor Spurs team.
Yeah, I mean, after that first half performance, it's hard because neither side could really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. But I do think the opportunity was there for them to do so, but they just couldn't. Either teams. I mean, I know quite a lot of people pointed to the performance of Kieran Trippier on that wing with his crosses going awry. I think he was probably one of Spurs' bright sparks in that first half. Just the fact that he was getting the crosses in, even if there weren't people on the end of them.
Yeah, he certainly was the one trying to make something happen, albeit with little product at the end. But you can see that he was definitely trying.
Yeah, I do think that the Spurs fans are a bit harsh on Trippier. I know he gets a lot of stick from their fans, and he has had a poor season. But I don't think that. I think that performance showed, especially in the first half, that he could have. It was a poor season. I don't think it was just that he was a poor player.
Yeah. Maybe just an off season. I don't know. It's weird. He went from being one of England's best player at the World Cup to being a bit of a laughing stock, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, now we can't even get into that England squad. I mean, we touched on that a bit in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't really say that it's harsh, him being left out.
No.
Because he just hasn't performed this season. We've got probably 3 right-backs who are better than him at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And another controversial talking point coming out of that game was Harry Kane. Obviously, he started that game, captain Spurs. But I mean, you could just tell he wasn't 100% fit, was he?
Well, we said in the last podcast that we thought that Son and Lucas Moura should have started because Spurs played better as a whole, and Kane just, when you're playing Liverpool, you do not want a player to hold up the ball. That you're just asking to be, goalless versus Liverpool. I mean, their defence has always been, even on their off day, has always been solid. I mean, Alisson was doing some tremendous saves, wasn't he?
Yeah, I just think they need to pile the pressure on a bit more, Spurs. And I don't think Kane was the player to do that. I do think Moura should have started over Kane. I mean, it's a hard one because obviously Kane, he gives the team a boost every time he plays, like mentally, and obviously with him being the captain, like it would have been a bit harsh, you might say, before the game to leave him out if he could play. But I mean, it became clear as the game went on that he couldn't play. It was just he wasn't fit, and I mean the same exact thing happened. Like when they came to Turf Moor, Kane played, and when he wasn't fit, and Spurs lost.
Yeah, but Burnley and Liverpool are different sides of the spectrum, let's be honest.
Well, they're not too far off, I would say. especially in the style of football, both beautiful to watch.
Yeah, always craving that that Burnley style. Divock Origi being the Mr. Impact sub.
Yeah, I mean, we did touch on that in the last podcast. He's sort of going back to his Lille days,
Yep.
isn't he? When everyone was raving about him and about the potential that he had. And you can see that coming now, because obviously when he first came at Liverpool, he didn't quite have the impact that maybe some people would have expected him to have.
No.
But,
yeah.
he's really taken that super sub role as his own now.
Yep. I find it kind of ironic how we were talking about how Van Dijk needs another centre-back partner, and it's Matip who delivers a lovely ball into Origi's path.
Yeah, I don't think Matip probably gets enough credit, I want to say. I don't think he's a bad player by any stretch of the means. I just thought, when we were recording that last podcast, I just thought that Matip probably wasn't someone you want starting if you challenge him for the Premier League or the Champions League. But obviously, he shut us up with that pass, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's not been a bad signing. He got him for nothing, essentially. So, you can't really say regret the signing of him because he cost them nothing. And he pops up with an amazing pass into Origi.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a free transfer, you can't really ask for much more, can you? Because,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
if for a player who is being let go on a free, there's obviously a reason that they're being let go on a free. You wouldn't let a player who's better than Matip leave on a free, potentially. So I think that's probably the best people can hope for a free transfer.
Yeah. I mean, Zlatan went to United on a free.
Yeah, but I think that was sort of... I think Zlatan just wanted a season in the Premier League, really. And I mean, he did play well, but after that season was over, he just fucked off back to MLS. Well, he didn't fuck off back to the MLS, he just went to the MLS.
Yeah.
But I think that was just something he wanted on his CV, was
Right.
Premier League football.
Anything else that needs or you want to discuss about the match?
Well, I mean, there was that Son handball, and I mean, obviously you can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes here.
Right.
That could have potentially led to Spurs equalising. I don't know if you can remember this, because the game was about a week ago,
Yep.
as of time of recording.
Yep.
But I did not think that was handball at all. Edge of the box for Spurs, and
Oh yeah.
I just don't think it was handball.
Did that lead to
I don't know what you thought about that.
Did that lead to the Alisson low save?
No, I don't think so. My memory of the game's very vague.
Yeah.
I kind of zoned in and out at parts, but I do remember the handball being given.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, my memory's pretty dreadful to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Only get this analysis on the Anti-Football podcast, folks.
Yeah. World class. Klopp gets his first ever trophy. So, you know, a lot of people said they like Klopp, but they don't like Liverpool. So it was a good moment for him. Is it his first trophy, or am I making that up? Maybe his first.
I do think questions would have had to start being asked about Klopp if he didn't win a trophy by next season, because there's only so much that an attractive style of football can do for you.
Yep. I mean, if nothing's coming out of it,
there's no trophies for playing well, and at the end of the day, that's what clubs like Liverpool aim for: is success, both domestically and Europeanly. That's not an adjective, is it?
no, in Europe, I guess. I mean, it's taken him 4 attempts to get a European trophy. He lost to Bayern, against when he was managing Dortmund. He lost to Sevilla in the Europa League. He lost to Real Madrid last season, and at the fourth attempt at the Metropolitano, he's done it. I mean, questions have got to be asked of Pochettino now, surely. He's yet to deliver.
Yeah, but I think you can probably give Pochettino a bit more slack because he hasn't spent any money in the past 18 months, is it? Is it past 3 transfer windows? He's literally made 0 signings. So I think he probably gets a bit more leeway than someone who spent 75 million on a centre-back.
Yeah, but they moved to a new stadium. I mean, they're still spending money, albeit not on staff, but they're spending it on facilities. Spurs have to sign players. They have to sign players. In order to compete every season, you have to sign players. They're dropping down the league. They went from being 3rd, now they're 4th. What's next season? They're going to be 5th? You don't really know. They need to sign.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I don't think the board's backing Pochettino probably as much as he'd want to be backed. I just think Pochettino's doing the best with what he's got there at Spurs. I mean, he does have a really good core of players, but that core can only take you so far. You need to freshen up every season. You can't just You can't just rely on the same group of players because eventually teams will just figure you out and you'll go stale.
Yeah.
And I think that's potentially what could happen to Spurs next season if they don't improve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point, yeah.
They don't even have to make many forward steps when it comes to signings. It's just...
They just need fringe players.
You just need fresh squad players.
Their academy isn't the best to rely on. I mean, I know that's how they've sort of used getting in new players. They're not that great. So they need to sign players.
Yeah, I mean, players like Oliver Skip, they're not going to be able to win your Champions League. Obviously, they could have the potential to one day, but Spurs really should be here for the here and now. I mean, unless they're going to get better youth academy prospects, they're not going to improve. They're just going to stagnate and they're going to go backwards. And I think that would be just so frustrating as a Spurs fan.
Well, as a Chelsea fan, the more they struggle, looks better for us. But yeah, I agree. They do need to. They need to freshen up. Fullbacks. They need to get someone better than Kieran Trippier and Danny Rose. I do like that they do use English players, but given how England performed on Thursday, we're not quite as good as people thought.
Because when you think back to the World Cup, we didn't really beat anyone. I mean...
Yep. I mean, in today's market with English players, they're going to have to absolutely splash cash. I don't really know. Maybe they have to delve into the Championship if they want to get, those young gems, because otherwise they're going to have to fork 40 to 60 million on a player like Harry Maguire.
Yeah, but a team of Spurs quality, like pushing for Champions League football, you don't really want to be looking into the second tier for players, really.
Well, they picked up Dele Alli from MK Dons. He went straight.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying you should bin off the lower leagues entirely. I mean, some of our best signings, as a Burnley fan, some of our best signings have come from lower divisions. But you have to be careful with players from lower divisions because you can never tell whether they're just a big fish in a small pond
Yeah.
with lower league players.
Yeah, I can't. That's a good analogy. But the same can be said about these Eredivisie lads. But I guess the way that they're performing at international level and in Europe, it's kind of maybe they're not these big fish in a small pond.
No, I agree with you there. But someone who might not have the chance to see if some players are a big fish in a small pond is Chelsea. Now, Jesus, that segue. Now, Chelsea, obviously, the appealing the transfer ban.
Yeah.
And they might have to appeal pretty hard to try and force UEFA to let them sign an Eden Hazard replacement. It's basically official that Hazard's at Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the official fee is 89 million, with fees rising to potentially 130 million to 160 million, depending on what sources you're reading.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're the Chelsea fan here, Harry. Just thoughts on that move?
I wanted to be very optimistic that perhaps he'd sign a contract extension, but I knew in the back of my head that he was going to go to Real Madrid. I'm a little disappointed at the fee, I guess, because if Neymar can go for 222 million, he should be going for more than that. I think Hazard's better than Neymar. That's probably from a bias standpoint, but maybe because he has a year left on his contract, that does lessen his worth. Otherwise, Chelsea would have to resort to letting him go on a free. But it's a massive, massive loss for us. He's always been the shining star in some dark seasons, including that one where we finished 10th. Jesus. Won us the Europa League, essentially, with the 2 goals. So, at least he went out with some silverware and that lovely Facebook post. So, I don't think there's a better way to go out and a more respectable way. So, I just wish him the best at Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you about the Neymar point. I do think that was just a freak fee for Neymar. That 212 million. I don't think we'll see many players reaching that for a while, unless we see like Messi move. But I do agree with you that you think, well, if a player like Neymar can go for 212 million, surely a player of Hazard's quality will be able to move for higher than 90 million.
Yeah. They're basically saying he's as much as Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah. I do think you've been a bit mugged off with that fee. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it could have just been because he had 12 months left.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, if they waited another year, Real could have potentially got him on a free.
Yeah.
So, you don't know what could have happened. I saw that Facebook post as well. It just seems like a really respectful player,
Yeah.
Hazard. But I do think it was probably time for him to move on, though. I don't see what more he could have done with Chelsea, because I don't think the team has improved with him. I don't think the team has improved alongside him.
No.
I do think he was probably a bit too good for this Chelsea side this season.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And obviously his dream move was Real Madrid, so you can't really blame him for moving, especially since it looks like Real could possibly be bringing in another breed of Galacticos. Obviously, the signing of Luka Jovic from Frankfurt being the first, and the likes of Paul Pogba and Christian Eriksen been linked with them as well. so you can't really blame him for moving on. But I'll miss watching him as a neutral as well. I think he's one of the best players of this decade that the Premier League has seen, if not the best. And I think the league will miss him.
Yeah.
The league will miss Hazard.
He said he wouldn't leave for any other club, so Real Madrid was always going to be on the cards. Now, I just wonder if they didn't come in for him, maybe he would have stayed. But Real Madrid, as you said, are doing this overhaul. It looks like they're not going to stop spending either. They've got Eder Militao as well. I think they got him in January. So they've got 3 brilliant players coming in, with more to come.
Yeah, it does look like that Real team is in a bit of a transition phase. And obviously you'll have to try and delay that transfer ban until July the 1st. Because I think if it's delayed until then, you're allowed to sign players, I think.
Right.
Obviously, you're going to have to try and drag out them talks with UEFA.
Yeah. I just don't think there's anybody out there that is available of Eden Hazard's calibre.
No, I agree with you. Just thinking, like, there is just no replacement for him, really, you'd think. It was your best player by a mile this season, I would say. In what has been a bit of a rocky season for Chelsea. Quite a lot of ups and downs this season.
Yeah.
But yeah. But even if your appeal is delayed until January the 1st and you're able to sign players, it looks like Maurizio Sarri won't be signing a replacement for Hazard. It's been reported by Sky sources that he's on his way to Juventus to become the new head coach. I know you're a big Sarri in person now, Harry, and it looks like he's on his way out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him and the probable replacement of Frank Lampard?
I don't think his style was ever suited to Chelsea, but somehow he made it work. And even when we had some embarrassing defeats, he'd always turn it around with a cup win over Liverpool or beating Arsenal in the Europa League, beating Man United in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Just big wins like that, getting us to 3rd. He will be missed. I think he didn't feel as if he was backed behind our board, and he didn't ever feel settled in England, which is probably why he's going back to Italy. So he'll go to Juve, he'll win the league there, with Ronaldo. I think that's, he's moved up.
Yeah. I think Sarri will be one of those people that fans will look back on in, say, 10 years' time and think, we didn't really appreciate Sarri when he was here. I do think he's been undervalued at Chelsea this season by both the board and the fans. I know there was a big period of time where it seemed like a lot of Chelsea fans were really begging for Sarri's head.
I can't name any of them, but yeah.
I just think Chelsea's probably a bit too cutthroat for their own good.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
They're too ruthless as a club. They don't give anyone a chance.
Yeah, I just think back to Carlo Ancelotti, Di Matteo, and Benitez. They'll win these, Europa League or Champions League, they'll slightly underperform. They just, they're gone. Whoever comes in, whether it be Lampard or, I don't know, any other of the bookies' favourites, you have to give them a chance, especially with this transfer ban, because I don't know which way it's going to swing. It's going to be tough.
I mean, just looking at some of the bookies' favourites here for the next Chelsea manager. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Frank Lampard is the big favourite here, 7-2 on. And after that, you've got Allegri.
Yeah, who's left Juve.
3-1. And then third, you've got Javi Gracia, 10-1. I mean, what would you think about Javi Gracia being the Chelsea manager?
He overperformed, if that's even, or exceeded expectations at Watford. I don't really know what he'd do. He's never been at a big club, so I don't really know what to compare it to. You can't. I mean, Chelsea, you can't really overachieve there because everything is so highly expected anyway. Unless we get like a quadruple, which I highly, highly doubt. I think just going off of what he did with Watford, he'd be a good backup to the backup option. So like plan C. For me it would probably go Lampard, Luis Enrique, I don't know, Allegri and then him. So plan D maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he was an overachiever at Watford. He was just unlucky to miss out on the top half this season. But I mean, obviously, getting a team like Watford to an FA Cup final, even if they did end up getting smashed 6-0, is an achievement for him. But like we said about Spurs dipping into the Championship, it's even more of a gap with managers.
Yeah.
Like almost any manager outside the top 6 in England currently, I don't think many top 6 clubs would go for them.
No.
Because they're an unknown commodity, especially with the amounts of money that the top 6 have.
But to be fair, Spurs did pick up Pochettino from Southampton, didn't he?
Yeah, but the gap between the top 6
it's larger than it's ever been.
Between then and now, it was much smaller then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just looking at some of the other names here, we've got Steve Holland, the current England assistant manager.
Yeah.
We've got Mourinho. Got Simeone's 25-1.
I like him.
So.
Yeah.
And we've got Zola, Bielsa.
Is Luis Enrique on there?
Enrique's 40-1.
Oh Christ.
Wenger's 50-1, along with Leonid Slutsky and Mikel Arteta and Sean Dyche. But yeah, it looks like Lampard's going to be following in Sarri's footsteps. What do you think about the season that Lampard had with Derby?
He just brought in loan players, such as Harry Wilson, Fikayo, Tomori, Mason Mount, maybe a few others that skipped my mind. I don't think he was even expecting.
Reece James as well.
Oh yeah, no, he's at Wigan, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I don't think even he thought he was going to get in the playoffs, and they only just scraped it on the last day. So if he can do such an amazing achievement especially over the course of 46 games, which is probably a little bit less than what Chelsea would play in the season, then I think he's an excellent replacement, especially because he knows the club. He's a legend in our eyes. I think he might get a little bit more leeway. Hopefully I don't know, because with the transfer ban, you have to give him even more leeway now. So I think good replacement, and English as well.
Yeah, I do think Chelsea do need a period of stability.
Yeah.
For the next few seasons, and I think that all starts with the manager. I do think whoever you bring in, you need to give them time, especially with this upcoming transfer ban. I just think it'd be harsh for Lampard to come in with the transfer ban and get sacked 12 months later.
Yeah.
I don't think that Chelsea should do that. I think you should keep him for at least 2 or 3 seasons, and just stick with the same manager, most of the same players, and just get a core.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the likes of Spurs and Liverpool have done, and you can see obviously they were just in the Champions League final. So I think Chelsea could be in that position, but you just need some stability.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, keeping managers around isn't in Roman Abramovich's vocabulary, so at the end of the day, it always comes down to the chairman and the owner. So yeah.
Yeah. Again, going back to that point about Chelsea being a ruthless club, I'm just not sure whether that it would be the right move for Lampard to go to Chelsea. Because I'm sure if he stayed at Derby, he'd have a good 2 or 3 seasons there. Whereas if he went to Chelsea, he could be out of a job within 6 months.
Yeah.
And not get another job. So you just never know what's going to happen. And especially because with him being at Derby, he won't have had to deal with as many egos in that dressing room than what he will at Chelsea.
That's true, yeah. Maybe he might have had to deal with that in his playing days. I mean, the likes of Ian Robben was known to be quite egotistical at Chelsea, and he was around during that time. Can't think of any other sort of cocky players.
I mean, I do think that could help him, obviously. It can't hurt him. But I just think, especially when you go back to looking at the Carabao Cup final this season, when Kepa refused to leave the pitch, I'm not sure how Lampard would react to something like that. I mean, just thinking about it, I don't think he'd have done much different to Sarri, and we know how that penalty shootout ended. So
yeah. I think Abramovich. Sarri is more stern than Lampard. I think. I haven't really seen Lampard lose his head, either as a player or as a manager, just off the top of my head. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he needs to be more assertive, especially with a team in the top 6.
I agree with you there. I'm just thinking about like who else it could be really, besides Lampard. I mean, obviously, some of the names we mentioned, like Gracia, Allegri, and Enrique. Another name that's been thrown around, but it doesn't seem to have been picked up by the bookies much, is Terry. Now, I think this would be a disastrous move for Chelsea personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to know your thoughts on that.
He's a leader on the pitch, but he has no managerial experience as such. I mean, he's more of a right-hand man of Dean Smith. I just think because he's quite prone to controversy in his own personal life, it would sort of maybe take the light away from Chelsea at times when you want the focus all on the club. Yeah, I think he'd be a disastrous pick as well.
Yeah, so I mean, as a Chelsea fan, who would be your number one go-to? If you could get any manager who's currently available, who would be your go-to? Like, realistically, who would be your go-to man?
Diego Simeone. I don't know whether he'd leave Atleti if Chelsea came knocking. He's practically probably got them as far as he can go within the facets of La Liga because of Real Madrid and Barca being, the sort of giants of that league. So maybe moving to the best club in London, seeing how far he could push them, could be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I'll agree with you that I'm not sure whether he would leave Atleti,
Yeah.
but if he would, I do think he'd be the perfect fit for Chelsea. I think his style of play really suits that Chelsea mould. I just think he is probably the best defensive coach in the world at the moment.
Yeah, which has always been sort of our issue.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Chelsea are quite a defensive team. So I think he would probably be the best fit for Chelsea. But like you said, it's just a case of whether he would go to Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, even if he could bring along someone like Griezmann, that would be amazing. Because we do need a striker. And I don't know, the prospects of this transfer ban just leaves us in quite a predicament. Because who's willing to actually take over a club which they can't make their own mark on?
Yeah, and I think that is probably why Lampard is the favourite to be taking over. Because most of the other names who we've mentioned, the likes of Allegri, Simeone, Enrique, they've all managed big teams before, and they'd want to leave an impact on that team and make it their own. And they wouldn't be able to do that at Chelsea in this current climate. Whereas Lampard, I'm sure, he would love to rejoin Chelsea.
Yep. Which leaves the question, who does Derby get? Would Chelsea be... Obviously we can't loan out as many players, so I don't know whether Lampard's going to be willing to sell 40-odd players.
I do agree with you that there is a problem with the amount of players coming back on loan. You'll have something like 70, 75 odd players like in your squad.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to get rid of at least half of them, probably. You'd think.
Yeah.
So it's just whether the likes of Lampard will be ruthless enough to get rid of those players.
Yeah, because we don't want them leaving on free, because we did invest in those players expecting a little bit of profit back, or even some sort of input in the team.
Yeah, I do agree with you that you should really be getting something for the likes of those players. It's an odd case with Chelsea, really. I mean, it looks like it's probably going to be a transition period this next season. And out of all of the clubs in the top six, I'm really the most interested to see how Chelsea do next season. Because it could go one or two ways if you bring, depending on who you bring in. You could bring in someone like Lampard, who does wonders for the club, does wonders for the team spirit, and elevates you to maybe take that third place in Champions League. Or it could come in and it could flop due to his lack of experience, and you finish outside of the top six. So you don't know what could happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of prepping myself for that, because Hazard was the reason we were getting top 4, top 6. So that is always sort of in the back of my mind as well, regardless of who we bring in, because Hazard was such an influential player.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be as disastrous as the season you had where you finished 10th.
No.
I wouldn't prepare yourself for that extent of terrible football in Chelsea. But I do think it is a possibility if Chelsea don't make all the right moves that they could really fall out of that top six.
Yeah.
Especially with teams like Wolves and Leicester and Everton pushing. If they make the right signings and Chelsea fall behind in terms of the managerial position, they could easily slip out of that top six.
Yeah. And we may see a new team in the Europa League and that. Obviously Wolves are going to be in there next season. Could see Leicester in the 2021 season.
Right, well, I'm just going to go for a quick piss. This is just going to be cut out of the podcast.
Right.
I'll be back in a minute.
Alright.
Right, so we'll move on to the Nations League semi-finals. Obviously, bitterly disappointing from England. But we'll start off with the game that came first. Portugal versus Switzerland. Now, give us your thoughts on that game, Harry, just overall.
It was the Ronaldo show, wasn't it? Portugal were always going to be the underdogs, weren't they? Don't think they really stood a chance, to be quite honest. They were the worst ranked team of the four in the semi-finals, so regardless of who they would have faced, I think they would have lost. I mean, they're going to be playing England in the third, fourth place playoff, and I expect that despite our terrible performance, we should get a win.
Yeah, it was a shame because I mean Switzerland did do relatively well to get to semi-finals, but yeah, I completely agree with you. It was the Ronaldo show. That smug bastard could play for the next 10 years, probably. I don't want to just gush over Ronaldo for this segment, but he is just so good. And I mean, no matter what side of the fence you sit on the Ronaldo-Messi debate, you can't argue that Messi has just never turned up for his international team, and that's something that Ronaldo has consistently done.
Yep. I don't know, just Argentina are a good team, they just do not gel. They've had some amazing players like Higuain, obviously not when he was at Real Madrid, not Napoli or AC Milan. Who else have they had? Mascherano.
Aero,
Yeah.
Dybala.
They just can't gel. It's really odd. And then the Portuguese team is picked from all over the world, just like Argentina. Maybe Ronaldo's just that good of a captain or a player that he can sort of make him sort of be a formidable force.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean, obviously, you had the real contrast up front for Portugal. I mean, obviously, you have the captain Ronaldo, who's played so many times for club and country, just one of the world's best players, getting on a bit, but he's still up there. And then, of course, you have young João Felix, who plays for Benfica, and he's really becoming a hot prospect across Europe.
Yeah.
João Felix.
Yep. Maybe a move to Real Madrid's on the cards, since they are looking to invest in the future. But he did seem at times he was that inexperienced kid, but he did, make something of himself in that game. He did try and get involved and be in amongst the attacks, which he's meant to do. I think Portugal just got a really strong side, hence why they won the Euros. Having Ronaldo is
Yeah,
obviously there to their advantage.
yeah. I'll agree with you. And I do think about Joe Felix, like, he's always going to be inexperienced unless you play him, unless you give him experience.
Yeah.
So I really like what the Portuguese team's doing with him. Because, I mean, obviously, playing alongside Ronaldo, that's going to do wonders for your career. About the move to Real Madrid, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you'd think, obviously, he'd get more game time at Benfica. Because you'd think he wouldn't be a starter for Real.
No, but they did sign Jovic, who won't be a starter either.
You're right. Well, I think they probably will alternate between Jovic and Benzema, Real Madrid, personally. But they might not do. I mean, personally, I don't think he should go to Real. If I was Felix, I'd just stay at Benfica. Because
Yeah, you
he's
don't
playing
want
in
to
his own
stagnate.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, it can only get better.
yeah,
Can Felix. I mean, obviously, 19 years old. I mean, he's been given the label the next Ronaldo, which, I mean, any player who's been given the label the next whatever automatically seems to have a less bright future.
yeah.
But
It's a lot to live up to.
yeah, I just think Felix should just keep what he's doing. Just keep doing what you're doing, and just like, because eventually, when a Real signs you, you'll be able to start for him.
Yeah. I think because of his league, even if he was slightly older, he still wouldn't be a starter. Because it's that old adage of, is he a big fish in a small pond, which you referenced earlier. Because the Portuguese league is pretty much a two-horse race every season. It's nothing like the Premier League where there's 6 teams vying for top spot. I mean, not this season anyway.
And I think you can say that for any team outside of Europe's top 5 divisions. It is a tricky one, really, because it's tough because you can see obviously the talent in him when he plays. But obviously, you can't tell whether that's because he plays in Portugal. I think a real test will like be against Netherlands in the finals of the Nations League.
I mean, if you can beat the
I
likes
think
of
we'll
Van
really be
Dijk
able to see what
and
he's
De
like
Ligt, if you can beat
against the Netherlands.
if you can beat the likes of like Van Dijk and De Ligt, then it would definitely show he's not a small fish and a big fish in a small pond, because those are probably the 2 best centre backs, or at least the best centre back partnership. So I think against the Netherlands, he can definitely show his worth and probably increase his price.
Agree with you. And I mean, well, I mean, obviously, Felix is going to be. It's going to be a really interesting time for him to see what he does next, where he goes next. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've got to say about Portugal-Switzerland game. Anything you want to add?
No, I think we've pretty much summed it up with it being the Ronaldo show, because that is what it was.
Yeah, it was basically just a showcase for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as I don't want to, I guess we've got to move on to the other Nations League semi-final. Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly on that game. Just fucking depressing. Terrible defending from Stones and Walker in particular. Costa's that tie. Yeah, it's just not good enough.
We took the lead. I mean, that's a positive, I guess. Marcus Rashford dispatched the penalty. I don't know why he took Rashford off for Kane. Did he not watch the Champions League match? Yeah. And then he brings on Lingard, who, as he said in the last podcast, is the world's oldest teenager. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, he goes on to score, but it's ruled offside by VAR. Now, obviously, I've been shouting for VAR all season with the luck that Burnley's had. It was no penalties in over 70 games in the Premier League or something like that
Jesus.
for Burnley. But now, I'm not so sure about VAR. I think VAR might be able to go fuck itself. I mean, it was a fraction offside. I don't think it had been given without VAR.
No, I think we need sort of a bird's eye camera to sort of, or a bird's eye view camera, just to sort of get a much better view than a side view camera, because it's very subjective with that view, angle. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, is a foot offside, or, you know, like an actual foot on the body offside, or a hand offside? Like, does your whole body need to be offside to sort of make it clear cut? Because the law isn't really that clear on what should be offsides to consider the flag going up.
Yeah, I do think that the rule is if any part of your body is offside,
Right.
then it's offside.
Right.
I do think that's really stupid position. But I mean, it's harsh, really. I do agree with you that there needs to be a bird's eye view, because it's not clear. It's not clear with the position of that camera where you draw the line.
Yeah.
And especially if we are going to be sending more of those decisions to VAR, we're going to have clearer cameras to be able to see.
Or like some sort of drone, although that might cause issues in itself. Just, you need something above to film what's going on, because that is a grey area with Lingard offside. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so sure about the drone. I mean, you don't want to become the XFL, but yeah, I do think maybe like if you get a helicopter or something just above the stadium, being able to film.
Yeah.
Like just something, and I just think the rules need to be clearer, because especially if you're sending stuff to VAR, everyone should be clear on what the rules are. Because I'm not 100% clear on what the offsides rules are. I don't know whether it's your whole body, whether it's just a foot, or whether it's any part of your body. Like, it needs to just be written in black and white, so there can be no confusion.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be sending those types of decisions to VAR.
Well, as of next season, Premier League clubs will be able to watch what the VAR are going to watch on the screens, apart from United and Liverpool, because they don't have the replay screens. So we'll be able to see exactly what the VAR is going to see.
Yeah, I think the official statement was, if the video is clear enough, that they'll show it on the big screen.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, again, is a grey area.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're discussing all the VAR talk. That's just distracting us from a very, very poor England performance.
Yeah, we're just looking for excuses.
Yeah. It was depressing. Especially after the positivity of this past World Cup. Um, we, I mean, we got to a semi-finals of a World Cup. Technically, that means we're the fourth best team in the world, but we didn't play like the fourth best team on the world.
No.
On Friday.
We lost to a team that hadn't even qualified for the World Cup, which is even more depressing.
Yeah.
Matthijs de Ligt was the subject of, oh, he's overrated, to, oh my god, this guy's a beast.
Yeah, and I think that really shows a football fan's mentality. You can't judge a player off one game.
No.
But even if you did, I don't think that one game would show you enough of De Jong. Not De Jong, De Ligt.
Yeah.
I don't think that game would show you enough of him to be able to justify an opinion. Because, I mean, the foul was poor. Don't take that the wrong way. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 18 years old, 19 years old. Like, he's got another potentially 20 years in him as a defender. And, I mean, those sorts of tackles and those sorts of fouls in the area, they'll go.
Yeah. I think it being his sort of only second ever biggest semi-final, obviously because he was in the Champions League final, the nerves was there, and he's only 19 anyway. But he did redeem himself.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good header.
Yeah.
From De Ligt from that corner. But I mean, it was also should have had someone marking him really. Like,
Yeah. He is a tall lad. Our defence was woeful, so I don't think anybody could. I don't think we would have stopped it. Shambles, basically. So that took it to extra time.
and I think we were probably lucky to have it taken to extra time. It's just the more that we go on about this England team, the more depressed we feel. Like it's just like, don't know what Stones was thinking. Like,
I don't know. He was trying to do like a pirouette on the ball. Oh, look at me! I'm a Premier League winner. I don't know. Looked like an utter twat. And Carl Walker just basically backed him up by saying, "All right, I'll put it in my own net." It was a bit.
I don't agree with this whole playing it out from the back tactic.
No.
Personally, I just think it's a load of rubbish. Like, if the ball's in penalty area,
Yeah,
there's a
hash it
chance of you
clear.
conceding. Don't matter whether you've got the ball or opponent's got the ball. Like, just hoof it up.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I'm guessing that's the Burnley coming out of me.
No, I completely agree. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so frustrating as a Burnley fan. Like, you think, what the hell does Ben Mee have to do to get into that England squad? And then you see defending like that. And I do think that top six bias is still a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as big as a thing as it was under like Sir Hodgson.
No.
But big club bias is still a thing in terms of international football. And it's one of the things what I just hate about English football at the moment. The idea that for the international team, you can't be picked if you play for a small club.
Well, Jack Butland got picked. He plays for Stoke. Tom Heaton got picked. Callum Wilson. Declan Rice. and Ben Chilwell.
No, I'm not saying that those sorts of players don't get picked.
Right.
But then you see, but you just think like, example, why didn't Redmond get picked? I thought he was harsh to be left out.
Oh yeah, definitely over
Wan-Bissaka,
Delph.
especially.
Yeah.
Like, I think Trent and Wan-Bissaka are the two right backs we need. Like, I'd Walker's the third best out of those three. And again, like, I mean, this is probably my bias, but Ben Mee was just brilliant for us, like, this season. Is in the top 3 for, like, most defensive stats in the Premier League this season. And you still can't get into that team. I think Butland was just there in that squad because someone forgot to scribble off his name from 2015.
I don't know why we picked 3 goalkeepers. Why do we need 3 goalkeepers?
No, I mean, I can understand when you go to a tournament,
Yeah.
like,
But we're literally
when
playing
you
2
go to an
matches.
actual tournament, like a World Cup or a Euro,
Yeah.
we were playing 2 games. Like, you don't need 3 goalkeepers. And especially not one who plays in the Championship. Like, I know I've just gone on about this big club bias, which is a thing, but I still don't see how Butland's in that side. Like,
I think it's more prevalent with other European teams than us. Because they'll pick players from like Lyon, PSG, Juve, Barca, you know. Well, I say that, and Netherlands did pick Babel, who got relegated.
I agree that a lot of national teams do have a big club bias, especially when you look at, like, Spain, for example,
Yeah.
and like 95% of their players are Real or Barca.
Yeah, or Atleti,
But, yeah, or Atleti. But, it's just, you look at some of those players and think, how are you in the squad? Like, again, like, I know he was a bit unlucky, but like Jesse Lingard, like, why is he picked over Redmond? I just don't get it.
And Fabian Delph, who started.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't get me started on Delph. I mean, at the World Cup, my main, like, target for abuse was Danny Welbeck. I don't know how the hell Danny Welbeck got into that team.
My.
Exactly. Oh my.
Yeah.
It's just. Oh, it's just so annoying. Like.
Then we had Ross Barkley playing it back, and
Yeah.
Quincy Promes dispatched it.
Right, Has?
Yeah. Again, I think we're just inviting that. I mean, we beat ourselves in this game, really.
Yeah.
I think we could have easily won that game. We could have easily beaten the Netherlands. But it was just his defence just crumbled for some reason.
Yeah. It was pretty much the Everton failure show. Because John Stones used to play for Everton. Pickford obviously played for Everton. He made some big mistakes. And Barkley used to play for Everton as well. The Scouser fuck-up show.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that for the past 50 years about England, the fuck-up show. But, yeah, obviously, we're playing Switzerland in the third place playoff. How do you think that match will go?
I don't know, I'm not really interested in watching it, to be honest. The Nations League, don't really get what it's for. Like, why are we doing a third, fourth place playoff?
Yeah, no, I don't get that either, because the whole point of the Nations League was to remove the need for friendlies. But, like, why do you need playoffs then? It's not like at the World Cup where you can say, oh, I finished third in the World Cup. Like, no one cares if you say, oh, I finished third in the Nations League.
It's true, yeah. I really just do not get it. Yeah. I think it's just to make friendlies competitive, and I don't know what the winner gets besides a bit of money and a trophy.
Well, it's automatic qualification for the Euros, I believe. The winner gets.
So what's the point in the groups then, of the Euro qualification?
You can't just have one team in the Euros. Like, there's got to be more than one team. But it's just the winner of the Nations League doesn't have to play the group stages because they're already through.
So they're top of their group at the moment on goal difference. So they basically get a pass, and then Turkey, Iceland, Albania, Andorra, and Moldova have to fight it out as they get a bye.
Yeah, basically.
Why am I saying France? Netherlands I meant, but yeah.
What was that, Harry? I didn't hear you.
I said, why did I say France? It's Netherlands in the final. And Portugal.
Why did you say France?
Don't know. I think Portugal should get
it don't matter anyway.
straight in the Euros because they won the World Cup. And they're currently... they're third after 2 games. So it could be a chance that the world champions aren't even involved.
That could be a real possibility. I don't think so though. I do think they'll manage to, even if they just manage to scrape through, I do think they'll get through.
Right, okay.
Just going on to preview the final, what do you think will happen in the game between Netherlands and Portugal?
I think I'm really excited for the battle between Van Dijk and Ronaldo in the air. That's going to be really interesting to watch. I want to see how De Ligt fares against a fellow 19-year-old in João Felix. I think it's just going to be a really good match. I'm quite excited for that.
Yeah. I really agree with you. I do think we'll see some really good football being played in that match. As for the winner, I'm not so sure. I mean, the easy answer would just be to go for the Netherlands because of the quality that they have. But I mean, as we saw on Thursday, Ronaldo could just turn up and score an hat-trick easily. He could easily do that against the Netherlands. So I'm not sure. If I had to make a score prediction, if I was forced, I don't think there'll be much in it. I think I'd say 1-0 to Portugal. I think Portugal are going to win this.
So I think it's going to be 1-0 Netherlands.
Yeah, so we both agree there's not going to be many goals. Not going to be much in it either.
Oh yeah, Portugal are the hosts as well, aren't they?
What?
Portugal are the hosts. It's going to be at the Estadio de Dragão.
It's in Porto.
Yeah. Maybe that might swing in their favour. No, I'm going to go Netherlands 1-0, yeah. I just think Van Dijk might just do enough to keep Ronaldo at bay.
Yeah. Do think that that'll be a really interesting battle, Van Dijk Ronaldo. Obviously, we didn't see it in the Champions League, but I think it is probably. Well, I'm not going to start the Messi Ronaldo debate, but it's one of the top 2 top attackers in the world at the moment versus the best defender in the world at the moment.
Yeah. So
that'll be a really interesting battle, and also, like you said, like the battle between the 2 teenagers, Felix and De Ligt. That'll be really interesting to watch as well.
Yeah, just see if Felix gets past him. Who's their goalkeeper? Is it Citizen? He's not that great. So if he gets past him, I think That would certainly increase Yao Felix's worth. 'Cause De Ligt is already seen as quite a big prospect in most people's eyes, and maybe Yao Felix is a bit of not as well known.
Yeah. Agree with you there. Yeah. Do you have what else to add? Right. So we'll move on to talk about the England under-20s. We won't go into much detail about the individual games, but what do you think about the performance as a whole of the England under-20s
Abysmal.
at this tournament?
Abysmal. I think the Toulon tournament is probably France or Portugal's for the taking. I'm going to go Portugal, actually. England we lost all of our games. I don't know, we just didn't look. We took the lead against Chile, couldn't even hold that. Lost to Portugal and lost to Japan. Just, the only shining player was probably Joe Willock, because he got our goals. That's about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's just so fascinating because you look at the gap in quality between our under-20s and our under-21s, and it's not like we have a lot of bad players in the under-20s. We've got some really good players. Like you said, we've got Joe Willock, Dwight McNeil on the wing, got Reece James at right back.
Edward Nketiah.
Yeah, we've got some. Yeah.
Steven Sessegnon.
Right. We've really got. Yeah. Got Easy for QPR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Andre Green.
It's just odd. Yeah.
I think because under-21s get first dibs, maybe. Like, players will most likely want to play for the most senior level they can get, rather than under-20 to test themselves. Like, I'm pretty sure Callum Hudson-Odoi would get picked for the England side rather than the England under-20 side. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. It's just odd. Because, I mean, we won the Under-20 World Cup just a couple of years ago. I mean, obviously, we've got different players.
Yeah.
But it's just, we've got the same manager. And you just think, why have we just capitulated all of a sudden? I mean, I think it can be summed up for me by the role that Dwight McNeil's taken up. Now, I've been very vocal about this. I just don't see why he's playing McNeil, Simpson. I don't see why he's playing McNeil as almost a left back. Like, when you watch him during these games, he's never bombing forward down the wing. Like, he's never, like, he's a tenth of the player for the England under-20s than he is when he plays for Burnley. Now, I'm not sure whether that's down to just nerves for playing for his national team or just the way that the manager plays him, but he's nowhere near the quality that he is when he plays for Burnley. And I'm sure that's the same for many of the other players as well who play for the under-20s.
Yeah. We've won the last 3 Toulon tournaments. So to not even make it out of the group was a major shock. Questionable. Really questionable.
Yeah. And I mean, you just look at the players in that squad and you think, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2, right, not many of them players would get into the under-21 squad.
No.
Right?
Which is probably why they got picked.
Yeah, no, but, like, I'm just saying, there's there's quite a gap between the two sides.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the under-21 side has loads of players that you could easily say they should be in the senior squad, but you don't have many under-20 players who you say they should be in the under-21 squad, and definitely not any who you'd say they should be in the senior squad. So
Yeah, I'm looking at
yeah, it's just an odd. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the under
Yeah, it's
21
just
squad.
odd.
Tammy Abraham could be in there. James Madison, Phil Foden, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They're probably the players that could make it in the actual team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on Wan-Bissaka before, but yeah, like again, you just, especially the players like Phil Foden, Madison, like Abraham, Gray, like they could easily be in that senior squad,
Yeah.
but they're just not. And I mean, you look at likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell, Joe Gomez, Lewis Cook, like Loftus-Cheek, like Hudson-Odoi, like all of those players, like, and Rashford as well, he was the one I was forgetting. But all of those players have made the step up to the senior squad.
Yeah.
And you look at the under-20s and you think, there's no one there who can. There's no one you can see in 5 years' time in that senior squad.
Yeah. Are you going to watch the under 21 European Championships?
Yeah. Like, I'll probably be watching that. I think we'll do pretty well in that because we've got a really good side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where about
I mean, who are
France
we in
and
a-
that? I'll have a look.
Just looking here, we're in a group with
France, Romania.
France, Romania, and Croatia.
Jesus.
Which you'd think would be able to make it out of that group at least.
Yeah, probably second, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the players in this under-21 squad for France, we've got players like Moussa Dembele, Guendouzi, Aouar, Toussaint, Sarr, Upamecano. They've got some really good players in that side.
Konate.
What you'd think would be able to qualify over Romania and Croatia. You know?
Yeah. Oh, Guendouzi got picked. Jonathan Bamba, he's really
Guendouzi got
good.
picked.
Oh, Lilian Thuram's son got picked. I don't know if you remember him. Probably not.
Remind me, go on.
Thuram used to play for Juve. He's a centre back. His sons are strikers now.
Vaguely.
He used to play for Barca as well. That was
Oh, yeah. I remember now.
yeah. That France squad is quite
I'll be
worrying.
watching those games. Yeah, so we do have a very bright future, England, which is good because we've got a very shit present.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, is there anything else you want to add about England, or is that it?
I think we've touched on how depressing they are to watch. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what other topics is there that you want to talk about potentially? I know there's a signing of Daniel James for Manchester United. What do you think about that?
I don't know whether they play, will they? I know he's absolutely rapid. So we've talked about that lack of pace up top. He will be certainly a player for the future to increase their, pace. Also he's Welsh, so you've got that British culture coming in. I think it's just the start of the overhaul, basically. But I doubt he'll play. Probably go back on loan to Swansea
I mean, you can see, like you said, he is really fast. He just needs his talent to be moulded by a top quality manager. And I'm not sure whether Ole is the person to do that. I think if he went to like Man City or Liverpool, where they've got Guardiola and Klopp, they'd be able to mould his talent. But I'm not sure if Ole's experienced enough to be able to do that.
Or has he been signed to the Man United under-21s? I don't know whether...
I don't think so. I think he's in the senior squad. I'll just check that, actually. It looks like he's going to be in the senior squad, from what I'm seeing here.
Alright. I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll play. Do you?
Not at the start, no. I don't think. I think he could. Potentially, like, become a starter, but I don't think that's right now.
No. Do you think they'll use him over Alexis Sanchez, who's been woeful? I don't know whether they'll sell him.
He has been awful, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, City really dodged a bullet with him, didn't they?
Yep.
And staying on United as well, James Maddison has come out and said that it looks like he's going to be staying at Leicester rather than making the move to Man United. A smart move, I think, from Maddison.
Yep, completely agree. He would get way more game time, and he's more likely to look like he's a bigger star at Leicester. And I think taking on a more responsible role at Leicester certainly will help his growth as well, because they sort of rely on him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I think that's the main point about the fact that he'll be a star at Leicester, whereas he'll just be another player if he went to Man United.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a smart move for him.
I hope he signs a contract with them just to make it official, rather than it being sort of like to keep the media shut.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Leicester, I'd immediately be locking him down for another 4 or 5 years. Right?
I mean, he's had an amazing season. To go from Norwich to Leicester to the England under-21 squad, and some of us even saying he should be in the senior squad. It's quite an achievement.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that step up between the Championship and the Premier League. He's really been able to make that transition smoothly.
Yeah.
As Maddison. I think it's really been a breakout season for him. It was probably way too good for the Championship anyway.
Yeah.
When he was playing for Norwich. But he's really improved this season. You can tell even from the start of the season. And I think that will continue under Brendan Rodgers. So yeah, I think that's a smart move from Maddison. And just going back to Real Madrid, obviously we know that Hazard and Jovic, as well as Militao, have signed for Real. But two big names who could also be joining them are Paul Pogba and Christian Eriksen. Now we know Eriksen's come out and publicly said that he's looking for a new challenge next season, which is just code for I want to get out of this club.
Yeah.
Could you see him making that move to Madrid?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I can definitely see that move happening. Will he get in there over Modric and Casemiro or Isco? Probably not. Unless Modric is really wanting to go to Italy like he did last season, then I can see him being a starter for him. They definitely need someone over set pieces since Ronaldo left, and he's definitely a good player. to do that. So, really good move if Real Madrid can lock him down.
I mean, they've had a bit of a problem in central midfield this season, Real. I mean, obviously, Kroos and Modric haven't played as well as they perhaps should have done.
No. I mean,
Modric this season, or last season, sorry,
yeah.
looked nowhere near the player that he did at the World Cup.
No.
And Kroos especially has looked just terrible this season. But yeah, I could perhaps see Eriksen starting
Yeah.
in that Real Madrid lineup, over Kroos especially. And the other central midfielder they're linked with is Paul Pogba. Now, I've got quite a bit to say on Pogba, but I'll let you go first, Harry. Thoughts on Pogba, and can you see this move happening?
I think he's an overhyped, overrated player. The price tag on him is only because of his time at Juve. At Man United, he only stepped up when Solskjaer took over, and that was only during his interim sort of time. Even at the World Cup, there is glimpses there, but he's not the player that he was meant to be or supposed to be. I think whatever the price tag is, it should be less than whatever United paid, because he has not improved since he left Juve.
I completely agree that he's probably gone backwards since when he's left Juve. It's just so overrated. Like, if you think back, how long has he had at Man United? Was it 2 years or 3 years at Man United Pogba's had?
2 or 3 years, I think, yeah.
3 years. Signed in 2016. We've never talked about him at Man United as a world-class player.
No.
The only discussions around Pogba have been that, you can see that he's got the quality there, but he just doesn't try hard enough. And that's been for 3 years. But when you play for a club like Manchester United, you can't get away with not trying.
No.
Like, everyone talks about how it was a mistake for Ferguson to let Pogba go. But was it really? Like, we've seen that Ferguson was proved right, that Pogba does have a poor attitude. Like, you can see whenever he loses the ball in midfield, he's never, like, chasing, like, the opposition down. He just strolls back. Like, it just doesn't seem like he cares. Like, and that's not the sort of player that Real Madrid need. Like, they need someone like a Hazard, who you can tell is just going to play the heart and soul out for that club. Like, and Pogba's not going to do that. If he went to Real Madrid, it'd be for the money.
Yeah, it would just basically fuel his ego.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, his ridiculous wages, when he's on, like, 350, like, 400k a week, and he just fucking spends half of that on hair dye. Like, he just, like, needs to... He just needs to grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't... It just doesn't seem like he cares. Because he probably doesn't care. Like it wouldn't be the right move for
It's
Real Madrid.
Absolutely baffling. He does nothing and is linked to a club like Real Madrid. He probably thinks to himself, why do I need to try? It's the media bigging him up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this season, he's had probably about 6 weeks where he played well.
Yeah.
Like, when Solskjaer first came in, he was really good. He was really good, and you can tell he is a good player. He is good at football, but like ever since then, and ever before Solskjaer came in, what's he done? He's done nothing. Like, he's overhyped, he's overrated, and Man U should just try to get rid, because he's not worth it. He's not.
I can't wait to read that headline of when he leaves for like 100 odd million. I'm just gonna sort of laugh to myself because Real Madrid are utterly delusional to spend that kind of money on Pogba and only 90 million, reaching 160 million potentially on Eden Hazard.
Like, I mean, I could easily see Pogba going for more than Hazard.
I know,
And he just shouldn't.
Oh, no.
Hazard is 10 times the player that Pogba has ever been.
Yeah.
Like,
he'll be on more wages as well, which is disgusting.
yeah. Like,
I bet he gets given the number 7 shirt as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, 2 seasons ago, like, I bought into the hype. I believed people when they said, oh, he's world class. But he's not world class. Like, he doesn't try enough to be world class.
It reminds me of Robinho, maybe. He played for AC Milan and Real Madrid. Went to Man City, who were willing to pay it, like, give him anything, and he was a flop.
Yeah, Robinho's a really good comparison. It's so frustrating when you see players who just play their hearts out, like, and they're stuck in like League Two.
Yeah.
And they're never going to make it, but they keep playing and playing so hard, and they try so hard for the club. And then you see someone like Pogba who just don't care. Oh, it's so annoying. Like,
it's so mind-boggling. But I know United fans are pretty delusional, but what are you taking to think that this guy is your best player? Or amongst, some of the greats that have put on the red shirt? He's like Anderson.
I don't see how anyone could think that, honestly. Like, he just doesn't try. Like, and I know I'm just saying the same points over and over, but it's just the fact that he doesn't. Like, he doesn't care. And why should he care when he's being paid these ridiculous wages? Like, and he's being bigged up by all the media. Why should he care? Why should he have to try when he could just not try and reap the rewards? Right?
Yeah, he could literally play it forever because he's not putting himself at any risk. So he's just gonna keep getting a bigger and bigger bank account, and it. Man, oh jeez.
But yeah, I think we're in agreement that Eriksen will be a good move and Pogba will be a bad move for Real.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Any other rumours that you want to go into?
No, I'm still pretty pissed about Pogba, to be quite honest. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just frustrating, isn't it? As a fan, when you see someone who just doesn't try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there any more rumours? Or is that it?
I think that's about it. Unless you've got any.
Oh, I'm done. I mean, we've been recording for almost 2 hours. I think that's it. So, yeah, this has been the Anti-Football Podcast. Harry, have you got what to plug?
Yeah, I'll plug our Twitter. Is it at Anti Football Podcast?
Football Pod.
At Anti Football Pod. And I'll plug my Twitter at Hazard Chelsea FC. And do you want to plug your Twitter?
And I'll plug my Twitter as well. I'm at IWGP Chris BFC. And that's it. You've been listening to the Anti-Football Podcast, and we'll see you next time.